When you have a really good website that's built to convert all of that traffic into customers, and you have a website that Google loves, that will rank you on the first page of Google, that's where all of the best leads come from.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Kyle with Service Business Freedom, and I'm here with Rudy. He's been a good friend of mine for years. He does all of my SEO and website stuff. So, Rudy, go ahead and introduce yourself and what you do in your company.
Hey man, so things are good, right? Things are good. You're
Yep.
happy?
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, so my name is Rudy Hetrick. I'm the founder of Floor Coating Marketers. We're a digital agency that works exclusively with the concrete coating industry. We help business owners get their business to the next level, really try to get their business in front of their ideal customer. And we do that through all sorts of different digital marketing strategies, Google Ads, building websites, Google My Business, Facebook ads, that kind of stuff, social media management, all in an effort to make a business what I like to call omnipresent, where anytime someone goes online, they're in your world now, right? So that's kind of the strategy behind all of that.
For sure. Yeah, I know, like for us, you've been doing our Google ads, Facebook ads, website, obviously SEO, and it's been a game changer for us, just having leads on autopilot. So yeah, it's been a game changer for us.
Yeah,
So
100%, man. It's the only way to do it.
yeah, I agree. So as far as like your SEO and your website, why is all that important?
Well, I guess the easiest way to say is when you have a problem or you're trying to figure something out for yourself, where's the first place that you go?
Website for sure.
Yeah,
Or
you go to Google.
Google. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Google or Bing, I guess, depending on how old you are. But
Mm.
so yeah, you're going to go to Google, and then you're going to be searching for what it is that you're looking for, and then you're going to click a listing or a link that takes you to a website. If you're not there on that first page, then you're not going to get that customer, and that's pretty much, it's that easy, right? The technical aspects of it isn't easy. It's not as easy as everyone might think, but the strategy behind that is when you have a really good website that's built to convert all of that traffic into customers, and you have a website that Google loves, that will rank you on the first page of Google, that's where all of the best leads come from. And you know what, I got to talk a little bit about this too. It's a separate, well, it's about SEO, but there's a lot going on right now. I'm on a lot of groups, Facebook groups, and there's buzz about SEO. Well, you don't need SEO. Why would you pay a company $1,000 a month to do SEO? Or, well, this and this and this works. For those of you who are watching or listening to this, everybody is different. Every company is different. Every market is different. One person who tried Google ads for 1 month and spent $1,000 and it didn't work doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just means the strategy or the campaign didn't work, or the person doing it didn't do a very good job. So there's a lot at play here. And, my recommendation to anybody who's really considering, hiring an agency or doing it themselves or whatever it is do your research. Just like you would go and check reviews on a company before you buy a car. Just, you go talk to your friends, you go talk to your family, and yeah, definitely go onto these Facebook groups and start asking questions, but don't immediately assume that if it didn't work for one company who's in the Northeast of the United States and you're down in Florida, right? Just because it didn't work for them doesn't mean it's not going to work for you.
For sure.
So, it's really, really important that you know that. Now, that said, if you're just starting out a landscaping business or concrete coating business or window pressure washing, whatever it might be, any service business, if you're starting out and you don't have a lot of capital in the beginning, then search engine optimization or SEO isn't necessarily the best strategy to start out with, because it does take time.
Right.
But the benefits pay off, because I don't know about you, but would you rather spend $7,000 a month on pay-per-click advertising just to have enough business to keep things moving every month, or half of that because the other half you're getting organic leads coming in because of your website being ranked?
Right.
What's profitable,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and I definitely think like for us, in our business, like the combination of the two, as far as the pay per click and the SEO, like the pay per click kind of gives you your immediate leads and the immediate lead flow, while your SEO is like trickling in leads to supplement everything. And for us, it's I know I keep saying it, but it's been a game changer. Like being able to have reliable leads each and every month to be able to grow your business and scale yourself out of the business and hire employees, um, it's invaluable. So
Yeah. Like when did you start? When did we start together? It was like 2, 3 years ago,
oh yeah, something.
right? I mean,
Man, it's been so long ago.
yeah, I mean, you came originally because you needed more leads coming in
Right.
because the SEO that you had wasn't working,
Yeah.
right? It was a little bit there. I mean,
Mhm.
when we did our audit, I remember this fully. I'm like, your website needs to be completely revamped. There's so many different variables that were going on there, and you don't know. You're a business owner trying to just grow his business so that he can have a good life.
Right.
Last thing you want to be doing is worrying about SEO, which,
Mhm.
by the way, I will say, that's search engine optimization. I'm going to explain a little bit what that means. Okay. It's a very technical term, but really all you're trying to do is optimize your brand so that you show up on Google. That's it. So it's not just about website. Okay. We're talking about citations. We're talking about listings everywhere else. Are you posting on social media? Are you just active online? Because I hate to break it to you, Google sees all of it.
Yeah.
It all matters. Google My Business matters, SEO matters, Google Ads matter, Facebook, social media, all of it matters in terms of your brand.
Yeah.
So if you post something on your social media and you have a link going to your website, that's a no follow link. Like it will not follow. But Google still sees that it comes from Facebook and that helps your brand. So it is important to post on your Facebook. It is important to have social media. I know we're going to that a little bit off that, but um, that all is about search engine optimization. You're not optimizing just your website, you're optimizing your brand.
For sure. Yeah. And I think like it's important, especially for, kind of going back as far as like the searchable website content and having it easy to navigate and all that kind of stuff. Like that is basically portraying who you are as a company. And yeah, I mean, posting on Facebook, posting on Google, having the SEO, having the ads going. I mean, it all basically shows your customer, hey, this is who we are, this
Yeah.
is what we do, and yeah, it's important. So I agree with that.
Yep. 100%, man.
Yeah.
100%.
So as far as like, I know we've kind of talked about this in the past, but some of the leads that I've been getting from using your services and doing the SEO and the Facebook ads and Google ads and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Could you kind of talk a little bit about that as far as, maybe some of the back end stuff or how all that
Sure.
works?
Sure. Yeah. It's very, again, it's very complex for the average person, right? I mean, it's not like I went and watched a couple of YouTube videos and now I'm the expert, right? There was a
Yeah.
lot of learning and there was a lot of mistakes that were made along the way. And there was a lot of ups and downs. And even when we worked together, some campaigns
Yeah.
went, just didn't work and could not figure out what's going on. We would optimize this, we'd optimize that. But I think in terms of your lead flow, um, really what's most important isn't the leads, but where you want to be.
Hmm.
Where do you want to take your business,
Right.
right? If you want to hit if you're at 500,000 and you want to hit 750,000 next year, but you're only putting in $1,000 a month in marketing, good luck.
Yeah.
You think you can get an extra $250,000 a year and still spend $1,000 a month? It's probably not going to happen. So it's really
Yeah.
important more on the, like, we can talk about the leads, but I think what's more important is talking about how much is your customer cost,
For sure. And
right?
that is one thing, I just want to interrupt here. That's one thing that I loved about, having you work on all my stuff is like you broke everything down exactly you know, the lead cost, how many leads we're going to be getting, and breaking down all the numbers. That way, as a business owner, I can sit there and be like, okay, this is what I think we need to do. This is how much money we need to spend. And then we just brainstorm together how to accomplish our goals, you know?
Yep.
Like us as business owners, we have so much other stuff we have to deal with. I think SEO and like lead flow and all that kind of stuff. I think you just need to leave it up to the professionals like Rudy. And
Yep.
so, yeah.
To a degree, right? Like you have
Yeah.
to, as a business owner, you have to, if you don't know what a KPI is or a key performance indicator, then you need to stop right now what you're doing. And if you're driving right now listening to this, pull over
Yeah.
and literally go to Google and go, what's a KPI?
Sure.
And it's a key performance indicator. Well, what is that?
Mhm.
These are like the most valuable measurable indicators of your business to tell you whether or not your business is going in the right direction.
Yeah.
So you can use KPIs with employees, you can use KPIs with leads and profit and everything, right? And so if you don't know your numbers, right, then you're not setting targets. You don't know where you're going. And just like a ship out in the ocean without wind, you're lost at sea,
Yeah.
right? So this creates that wind, right? Creates that momentum. And
Mhm.
so you need to know where you're going. You need to set your targets and then reverse engineer that target. So if you want to hit 750,000, you hit 500,000, you need an extra 250,000. Okay, now I go, okay, but my leads cost $30, right? But I only close at 25%. So that tells me that your actual cost to get a customer is called the customer acquisition cost is $100.
Mhm.
So if it's $100 to get a lead, but your average ticket's $2,000, and if this sounds all blubbery to you and you don't understand what I'm saying, then you need to really go and learn that,
Yeah.
right? This is an important part of business, right?
Yeah. I
And
liken
so,
it. Sorry, go ahead.
no, going in, no, it's fine. It's just, I was just going to say, like, once you know even those basic things, you can actually figure out how many customers you need to get to that
Yeah.
extra $250,000. And then from there, you can actually determine how much you need to spend.
Mhm.
And if it's feasible for you or not. If it's not, don't do it.
Right.
If it's not going to work, don't try to like think that you're going to be God somehow and figure out how you're going to miraculously come up with all this unless you have capital coming in from an outside source.
Right.
If you only think that you can grow 20% every year, then that's all you can do. And if you're not a very profitable landscaping company, for example, because you're always giving discounts or you're not priced high enough,
Mhm.
you're never going to get there.
Yeah.
You need to price good too.
I definitely liken it like all your KPIs and the numbers. It's all very important. You know, for us, I know we tracked our KPIs daily, you know,
Yep.
as far as some of the revenue or our margins for the day, we would track it. And it's almost like driving. If you don't have your KPIs in order, it's almost like driving a car without an instrument cluster, you know, or like with your speedometer and your tack and all that kind of stuff. Like you could be redlining it and you don't know, you know. So
Or speeding.
yeah, or speeding, get a ticket. Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally true, man.
So
And you got to do it. And
yeah.
that's a really good way to say that because you could gauge where you're going.
Yeah. And you like you make adjustments if you have to, you know, like that's why I think it is so important to know your numbers, know your KPIs, even
Yeah.
with your employees, like because it'll tell you, okay, I need to make an adjustment here, or hey, I need to pull back, or hey, I need to keep pushing, or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So
But you know, those new cars that are out now, I guess it's been around.
of course.
They got that new lane assist and they can even
I
like
hate
drive
that
for you.
stuff. I hate
I do
it.
too. I actually shut mine off now. I was like, because sometimes I like to go into the merge,
Yeah.
right, without signaling. It's like, I just got to go over here. And it's like, and then it corrects me.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's actually more dangerous, I think, than not having it. But
Yeah.
I only turn it on now when I'm going on long distance travels because in case I get sleepy or something.
Yeah.
But no, it's true, man. Like, and that's, but I want to use that as an example because it's a perfect example. Like having your KPI set up is like having lane assist
Mhm.
in your car.
Yeah.
It keeps you right focused. It keeps you on target,
Mhm.
right? It makes
Yep.
sure that you know you're going to go where you need to go because everything else is commentary, right?
Yep.
All this stuff is going to hit you from all sides and all angles in your business. And, you're going to have somebody's going to call in sick, or somebody's going to get into a car accident, or there's going to be a funeral, or there's going to be a tornado.
Yep.
There's going to be all these things that happen, which is, what I say, like called commentary. But as long as you have that target,
Yep.
there's no stopping you.
Yep.
Right.
Straight as an arrow.
Have to adjust, like you said, adjust.
Yeah.
100%.
I agree. So I want to kind of go back as far as like the Google and the Facebook ads. So in your opinion, I'll just say Google and Facebook ads has been crazily successful in my business. And obviously, and we rely on them heavily in my business. So how would you say, if someone's first starting out, how can you implement those Google and Facebook ads into your business, or how would you go about doing that?
Well, that's tricky, right? Because if you try to learn it yourself, you're taking your time away from running your business.
What's your time worth?
Exactly. But when you're first starting out, you have more time than money.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it is okay to learn about how that stuff works and try to really just kind of put that in place for yourself and just do it. Just see how it goes. If you have some money to spend, if you can do that, but you don't have enough money to hire somebody, you're kind of in between there, then just give it a go, give it a try, right?
Yeah.
But honestly, it's really complex. It's really complex. You need to go through some courses, like go and buy a course on Facebook ads. Facebook even has what's called the Facebook blueprint, where you can actually go through a certification process. And why that's important is you can do that in the evening or on the weekends or whatever, and get it done. And then you could be a Facebook agency. Serious. You could
Wow.
actually run a Facebook ads agency just from that alone, because you get that certification from Facebook, right? So, but obviously, time and experience will also help that. But for anybody who's just starting out and you need these leads right away, my recommendation is do not do both, right? The first thing I would actually tell you to do is get your Google My Business set up first. And the reason why I say that is it takes a couple of weeks before Google will send you a verification postcard in the mail. Then you have to verify it. You have to optimize your listing, upload pictures in your logo, but it's free for one. And they provide a website within that, right? It's not the greatest website. You can't customize it very much. But it does give you the option to get for somebody to request an estimate. It's a good starting point. And it gets you kind of localized in your own little area. Like you won't be all over the big, like let's say you're in Cincinnati, Ohio. Well, your listing isn't going to cover all of Cincinnati, Ohio if you're brand new. You have no reviews, you have no pictures, you have no posts, right? You just got verified. But it will give you something to start with for free.
Yeah.
So people will start reaching out to you that way, and it costs you nothing. That would be the thing I would say that you should implement first. Then from there, actually within the Google My Business account, Google will give you the opportunity to open a Google Ads account from there. I think they even give you like a $200 ad credit to start out. And then what's really cool with that is they have a really broken down version of Google Ads, and it's called a smart campaign. So Google will just kind of like go and take the reins for you. You just have to type in a couple of keywords that you think that are relevant. So basically your services. So if it's landscaping, maybe you do sod installation, mulching, and tree and bush trimming, right? So you put that in, and then Google goes, okay, we're going to go and take that now, and we're going to go find you some customers. As long as they have a place for like a landing page, which could be the website of the Google My Business. It could be literally that easy.
Yeah.
But the reason why I don't always recommend it, if you're a bigger company, the smart campaigns is definitely not the way to go, because you're limited. You can't control it. You can't optimize it, right? You can't add very many keywords, and you can't target the locations. There's a lot of variables in there that you can't do. That's a really good way to start if you're just starting out.
Yeah.
Facebook ads, another ball game. I would wait on ads
Yeah.
or do a course on it.
Yeah. So, but you would still recommend, like, as far as people first starting out, trying to get some sort of ads going and, to automate your lead flow and that kind of thing. I
Yeah.
mean, because that, like, whenever we first started, I was doing everything myself. And I mean, we were getting leads all over the city, driving 20, 30 miles just to get to jobs. And then being able to, whenever we started Facebook ads and doing work with you, tightening down our service area, I mean, it helped a bunch. So,
Yeah.
um,
Well, yeah, because you're not going to make any money because you got to
yeah,
go
drive
there.
time.
You got to drive 1 hour one way
Yeah.
just to do the estimate, and maybe you close them, maybe you don't.
Hmm.
And then you got to come back, and if you do close them, then you got to drive there again to do the job,
Yep. I'm going to
right?
add pictures. You need to be asking people for pictures.
Yes.
Don't go driving to jobs. You need to tell your customers, I need pictures. And
Yep.
Rudy's smiling because as soon I was adamant that we were going to do this, and oh, it's been a game changer for us. Like, not having to go out and look at jobs. It's been awesome. So a little
Makes
plug
sense.
there.
Makes sense because you know what? A lot of these people might not be in buying mode right now. So why would you
Mhm.
want to waste all your precious time
Yeah.
going all the way out there when really a simple quote could be done with 4 or 5
Mhm.
pictures?
Yeah.
And we created that form in
Yep.
Service Autopilot where you ask the appropriate questions to really help your cause, and then uploaded the images. They
Hmm.
they can upload the images, and you could even say in there you're allowed to upload up to 10 images,
Yeah.
right? So psychologically, they're gonna be like, cool. So I can take like 10 images
Mm.
and they'll upload as many as they can because they want to get this taken care of too. They're not beating around the bush either,
Yeah.
right? So you're making it easier for them. They're not gonna be
Mhm.
like, oh, I have to go and take pictures now.
Yeah.
Actually, if they knew that this expedited the quote, 100% they'll go outside and they'll take a picture.
Oh yeah. Well, and we put expect your quote within 24 hours if you send in pictures, and that way people know. If you don't send in pictures, like,
Take a
you're
bit
either going to
longer.
get charged a consult fee to come out there and look at it, or you could be waiting a week to get a quote. And obviously people won't wait that long with our company, but you
Yeah,
really want to incentivize people to send you pictures and make it easy on yourself.
yeah,
So
yeah,
just a little plug there for that.
yeah. And I'll add to that as well. Like in the beginning, honestly, it sucks, but you might have to
Oh
go
yeah,
out, do
for
all of
sure.
the estimates, even if it is an hour away. If you are really dedicated to your success,
Hmm.
every customer at that level is going to matter,
Yeah,
right? That's all revenue. So you have way more time than you do have money in the beginning,
for
right?
sure. For sure. Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, you definitely have to deal with some of that stuff. But as far as when you're scaling and growing your company and trying to get yourself out of it, pictures are definitely a way to go. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're first starting out, you're going to have to be hustling the streets. You're going to have to go out and look at every single job, knocking on doors, whatever you got to do to make it happen. Um, so as far as, like, I keep preaching on the SEO because it's been so crucial to our business. As far as, in your opinion, if someone was to get started with an SEO package, what does that cost? Is it worth it? Is it something that you would recommend? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, obviously I'm biased on this one, right?
Obviously.
But I try to be, I also kind of want to look at it like logistically and even methodically and just like kind of just give you I don't think that you need to worry about it in the beginning.
Hmm.
You don't. You can have your website ranked on the 9th page. It doesn't matter. You can still get leads because you'll have your Google My Business listing. You'll have Google ads at the top, maybe even Google local service ads if you do lawn mowing, but that's a whole nother ball of wax. I'm not a big fan. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a big fan. I think it's a big, huge pain in the butt. You're out in the field yourself.
Hmm.
You're not going to be able to be controlling all of this stuff through an app. It's very complex. You need somebody in the office to be doing that almost full time.
Yeah.
So, it's yeah. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But in terms of SEO, I think in cost, right? There's a couple of things that you want to look at. There, you do it yourself, right? Or you get it done for you. And you can also get it from an agency that is a full service agency, right? I'm not trying to like promote my business because I mean, we do floor coating anyway, but we didn't start there. We had, you're still our client, and I have some pressure washing companies and sod installation companies, but concrete coating is just kind of the way I want to point my direction at right now. So, but that being said, we're a full service agency, and we know our niche, we know our industry. And so if you can find an agency that has that, you're going to get better answers. Because again, back to the whole Facebook group camaraderie that I see, is one person is going to say Facebook ads don't work. The other person say we have great success with Facebook. And another person is going to say, I tried Google ads for a month and it didn't work for me and I lost a ton of money. It's horrible. Don't do it. So somebody coming into this, they're going to be like, oh, I'm just back to where I started. I have no idea what.
Yeah. More work on your plate than when you started. I totally get that.
But the issue is that person hired somebody who only can do that. This person hired the person who can only do that. So you're going to have agencies that only specialize in Google ads, but they'll say, no, you don't want Facebook ads, because they're, I'm not going to lie, they're probably worried that maybe Facebook ads will be better.
Yeah.
And then they're going to lose them.
Yeah. They're trying to push their product. I totally get that.
Whereas a full service agency, typically, if you buy a la carte from them, it would actually be quite expensive, but they will package something together. And so it all, and the good thing about, like, this is what we do. We don't just package, here's the price and you'll get what you get. We create a strategy. Like, this is a long-term strategy. Like, you're going to be spending X dollars every single month, but it's only because you told us that you want to hit 1.5 million in revenue by the end of 2021. And this is how we're going to do it. We're going to, and this is how we always recommend it, is we're going to build out your website. We're going to do your SEO, but SEO is a long game, right? It takes a long time. Google only crawls your website once a month. That's it, right? So whatever updates have happened that month, hopefully we've caught them, right? In any case, so we do that. And then while that's happening, in tandem, we've launched Google ads and Facebook ads. So you're still getting those quick wins. You're getting those leads right now while we build out a website and get your SEO going. Your Google My Business is being optimized all at the same time as well. Yeah. Right. So that's a really good strategy. And it's been very successful for all of our clients. We don't have one bad client. We had one client that left thinking he was going to get something good and then ended up coming back.
And so, that's definitely what I like about, your business is, it's the whole strategy. Like, it's not just like, oh, I'm going to sell you a website, which I've had multiple people do that to me in the past. And, it's the whole strategy. It's the whole enchilada, the website, the SEO, the Facebook, the Google, everything. And it's also sitting down with you and being like, hey, where do you want to be at? This is what you have to do to get there. This is how much you have to spend, so. And
I think that's I try to drive the nail on is, of course you got a budget for it and it's important to have that. But, if you're price shopping and you're trying to get the lowest price, guess what? You're going to get subpar results every single time. There's no question about it, because, and the reason for this is SEO is a lot of actual physical labor work. There's a lot of going to reach out and get backlinks. There's a lot of, building citations, getting verified. There's a lot of like on-site SEO, like there's lots that happen that behind the scenes that you don't even see.
Right.
And so it is very labor intensive. And so if someone's charging you $500 a month, chances are they're missing a whole whop load of things that they need to be doing, right? So the other thing is that when you're dealing with an agency that does the whole thing, is you're not going to have multiple different companies coming in saying, well, no, that's not working. It's too salty or it's not salty enough.
Yeah.
Never going to get a straight answer, just like what we're in the Facebook group, right? Everyone is the expert. But what really matters is if the agency that you're dealing with and talking to, if you're trying to figure this all out, is asking you questions about your business and is genuinely interested in your success, you'll know by the questions that they ask you. If you're talking to them and they're just talking about themselves and all these amazing results that they have, and they haven't even asked you a single question about your business, run as fast as you can.
Yeah.
So in
Yeah.
terms of cost with SEO, I would say, if you're at 500, that's the minimum amount. Anything lower than that, I would be very, very scared. But I've seen companies as high as 2,000 a month.
Yeah.
Like we charge 1,000 a month just for our SEO, and then website is 250 a month. But we don't do a la carte like we do as a package deal, right? So that's kind of, I think if you hire somebody who's around 750 to 1,000, you're probably going to be okay. It also depends on the area that you're in too.
Yeah.
Sometimes they charge you a lot more because if you're in Los Angeles or New York, it's way more difficult to rank your business in a very competitive environment like that. So it's going to take a lot more work.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think you need to like do some research on your company that you're going to go with before you jump in. I mean, because that was one of the mistakes that I made. I mean, over the years, I've gone through a handful of website agencies until I found you, and it was because I wasn't asking the questions, and just I was falling for that. Hey, we'll give you a website deal for $500. Like, so do your research. So
100%, man. You got it. Just like anything, you're going to go and buy a new zero turn.
Yeah.
You're just going to go to the nearest store and buy one. Or you're going to go buy one at Home Depot.
Right.
Probably not. You're probably going to research it. You're going to reach out to people on Facebook or whoever else. You're going to reach out to people be like, what's good?
Yeah.
These different options. Well, you need to do the same thing for marketing, because if you jump onto something and it's too good to be true, it probably is.
So this is a good stopping point to jump into our next point here. I know we've kind of, touched on this in your last comments there, but as far as if someone was to come in and they say, hey, I want to look for a marketing agency or an SEO person, what would your tips be as far as when they're trying to look for somebody? Like, what questions do they need to ask? What do they need to look for? Anything like that. If they're trying to look for someone to do their website or do their SEO or do their ads.
I think what's most important, it's going to be hard to know the questions that you're going to ask for, right? Because you shouldn't be asking the questions. They should be asking the questions. You need to be telling them your problems. So you just need to be open and honest and say, look, if you come into the conversation and say, I heard about SEO, how much does it cost? Well, guess what? You're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. If you tell them I'm just starting out a landscaping business, right, or a concrete coating company, and I want to hit 750,000 this year, right? What do I need to do to get there? And then leave it open and let them start asking you questions, because otherwise they're going to start. And that's the thing we were talking about. Like, if they start bragging about how their amazing results and here I got the case studies to prove it, still doesn't answer your question, right? Look for the value. Look for how they're going to be treating you, because if they treat you well in the beginning, chances are they're going to treat you well throughout the relationship, right? But if they're quick to get you to sign on that dotted line, right? There's nothing wrong with that in the conversation down the road. If it's something that you guys have mutually agreed is a good solution for you, fine. But if they're quick to be like, so it's going to cost this, so you got your credit card, and then they're jumping on you like that, then just hang up the phone, because they're more concerned about making money off you than they are about your results.
Right. Yeah, just talking about themselves, and I totally agree with that. So and then last question I really wanted to get your advice on, or your commentary on, is as far as like automating your lead flow. I know we've kind of talked about this as far as like the different forms and things like that. How would you go about automating from the point of getting the lead to transitioning them as far as getting them a quote and all that kind of stuff? Like, How does that look on your end?
Well, for those who don't really understand that question, because maybe you're just starting out and you're still trying to figure this all out, what he's talking about, like Kyle's talking about, is a CRM, which stands for Customer Relationship Module. I never had a clue. When I had my window cleaning business, I didn't even know what that was. When I first came into it, I'm like making an invoice using an Excel spreadsheet.
Oh yeah, dude, I used to have those little rip-off papers, the carbon copies. I used
Yeah.
to have those and you'd write down on them.
Yeah. And then you're just like, okay, so I sent out that quote, and then you got to like flip through all this paper,
Mm,
try to figure out when was it that, and then you're writing stuff down on the paper, trying to figure out when you called them, and then trying to, oh yeah, well, should I just like phone them now? And it's just super unorganized. Half of the papers ended up in the back of the vehicle, right? So you're losing leads and everything else. Not only
yeah.
that, but it takes a ridiculous amount of time to have to phone and text and email and do all these different things, right? But that's what a CRM does. It completely changes your business. If
Mm,
anything that you should be investing in the very beginning, it's a CRM.
yeah, for sure.
You can get some, service autopilot. I don't know how much they are now every month. I can't remember, but if that's not in your budget, there's still cheaper versions of that,
Mhm.
right? That will help you get to where you need to go. And then as you move up and you start getting more revenue coming in, and you're more profitable, then might be something you want to look into, is getting something like service autopilot, right?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, like, that you'll save between 15 and 18 hours a week
Mhm.
having this.
Easy, easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And because if you didn't have a form on your website, or let's say you just have a default generic form that came with the template that you bought from the company who you got the website from in the Philippines, that's usually how it goes. Then you're just going to get an email saying that you got this lead. Okay, well, now you got to phone them all up. You got to find out what it is that they're doing, what it is that they want.
Mhm.
And then you got to figure out, okay, so then you're going to make an appointment to do the quote. So then you go out and you do the quote. And then you got to go back home to your computer, right? Or you got to send them a text message or Facebook message or email right from your phone, say, okay, by the way, it's going to cost this. How professional does that look?
Right.
Professional. It's not even an official estimate on a nice PDF
Yeah.
with your logo on it and your tax number and everything else, right? So then you got to go home, and then you got to send that out, right?
Mhm.
And you don't hear anything. You don't even know if they've even looked at it, right?
Yep.
So then you got to phone them and follow up, and then you're not getting the responses, and then so the time it takes. Meanwhile, you're still out mowing your lawns and doing your bed maintenance or whatever, right? So honestly, like, I tell this to everyone that I talk to: running a business as a CEO of a company, your job is automate and delegate. Those are the two
Yep.
things you need to focus on, right? So automation, sales automation, how to make that very, very easy. And you do that through a CRM. They already have it all pre-built for you. You just kind of have to put the little pieces in there, right?
Mhm.
And
You know,
so,
one thing that's funny though is the automation and the delegation is like the furthest thing people want to do. Like they don't want to do that.
yeah,
And
it saves them an enormous amount of time in the
it's
end.
the thing you have to do to grow your business and scale yourself out of your business. Yeah.
Yeah, it hurts in the beginning. Of course, it takes extra
Yeah.
time. Of course, you got to learn this another piece of software, but it's critical,
Hmm.
right? It's critical. 100%. You have to do it. Even if it takes you an entire week straight of building out and learning this program and doing the training on it, you're going to save yourself hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours a year on this.
Again,
And
what's your time worth? What is
exactly.
your time worth?
Yep. Are you worth $5 an hour, or are you worth $150 an hour? Well, that's up to you
Hmm.
to decide, right?
Yep.
Are you going to do $5 an hour tasks, or are you going to do $150 an hour tasks?
Hmm.
So definitely you want to have a CRM. It's a no-brainer in my mind, and for you as well. This,
Yep.
right? They automatically, these systems are designed to automatically send them text messages and emails and follow-ups. All you have to do is use it, and well,
Yep.
you have to build it out. But they have training for that. They have
Hmm.
videos. They show you how to do it all. So
Yeah.
you're not, it's just a slight learning curve, and then you're in, right?
Yeah, and good companies like you that are, more full service instead of just like, hey, we're going to be doing your website, like
Yeah.
they can take all that information, the forms and automations and whatever, and put it straight into your website or put it straight into, your landing pages or whatever. And yeah, just it automates the whole process. So you're
Yeah.
no longer the one having to call the person to set up a quote. It's all done via automation. It's all done via website. They send in pictures, the system kicks them an estimate back. or kicks them back an email or whatever, just explaining your process. Like it's super, super easy. And great SEO and website companies like Rudy here can really help you automate that and help you grow yourself out of the business. So that's a good point.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and it's not, doesn't have to be complicated either.
No,
It doesn't have to be, you don't overthink this. Like it's literally, you could have a like a 6 thing sequence.
Yeah.
Like they fill out the form, they get an immediate email saying, thank you so much for filling out the form.
Mhm.
We'll be in touch within 24 hours. And then they get a text message saying the same thing.
Yep.
In 24 hours, guess what? Kyle's going to be reaching out to you right away. Expect a call from this number.
Right.
We're really, really thankful that you were able to reach out, blah, whatever it might be, right? And what you're doing is you might think that you're annoying them, but you're not. You're providing massive amounts of value. They see a company that has their stuff together, right? They see a company that's well organized. And what this is called is perceived value.
Yeah.
So they will actually think that you're just like a legit big company. Meanwhile, it's just you.
Yeah. Well, and they expect when they see stuff like that, they expect to pay more. They expect that your pricing is going to be more than Joe Blow down the street because you have all these systems and automations and processes in place, and you put yourself out as a professional company that's trustworthy, that is on top of their shit. They know what they're doing,
Yeah.
So they expect to pay more.
When was the last time you passed out a business card?
I mean, yeah.
When was the last time you passed out a business card with a price on the back?
Yeah. I mean, come on now, dude. I didn't do that. Like, whenever I first started, I did that. All right. It was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
And I felt like a loser. So having systems and processes in place in your business like this, it just makes you stand out from the competition that is not doing it. They're not doing it and they don't care.
And if you're putting your mind right, you've given yourself permission, right? You've allowed this. I guess you could just get permission to charge more.
Yeah.
So you don't have to feel like you're always going to be, competing on price all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you're always wondering with these other companies, well, how are they charging so much money yet I charge them less and I didn't get the bid?
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
Yep. Perceived value.
Yep. Right? Every time. That will always win because people will buy from you from 3 reasons: know you, like you, and trust you. If they don't have any of those 3 or one's missing, chances are they're not going to buy from you. Mm-hmm. So you need to make sure that you're building that out for your business. If you're going visiting these people and you're handing business cards or you're writing a price on a piece of foolscap, right? You're just devaluing your product, you're devaluing your service, and you're devaluing yourself. Mm-hmm. Right? Yep. Of course, you're going to have to charge low rates because they're going to negotiate with you. I know this for a fact because when I started my window cleaning business, I started cash under the table.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? It was the only way I could afford to do it at that time. I had no capital coming in. I could barely afford to pay my rent.
Yeah.
Right. In fact, there was multiple months where I didn't pay my rent. Right. It was a big problem. Right. And so, but the problem I noticed was every single time I did the PDF, I wrote even on that. Like, so I made a estimate thing on in Excel, and then I printed it out as a PDF, like a blank estimate sheet, right? I'd be writing it all in pen, putting their phone number and their name in there, and I still had my logo on it, and I'm writing it all out. It's garbage.
Yeah.
It's just garbage. It didn't even matter because then they would come to me and say, okay, well, I'll book with you, but I'll tell you what, you can book with me right away. But if you take the tax off, then for sure, whatever, they're going to start negotiating in those ways because people aren't stupid, right? Yeah. They've done business with other businesses before. You're not the first person they've ever done business with. So they're used to seeing companies that have a higher level of perceived value when they see you. It's like you're like the lamb amongst wolves.
Yeah.
You're done. Right? And that's the truth.
That's the way you got to do it, man. I mean, I can't tell you how many years I've struggled because I didn't do that, and it's a game changer. So,
Yes, 100%, man.
well, that's all the time I have, Rudy. But I want people to, if they have any questions or, might be interested in your service, could you tell them like where to find you or
Sure.
website, anything like that?
Yeah, so you can go to my website. It's floorcoatingmarketers.com and it has everything there about us. There's some blog articles, a learning center there that you can kind of learn and read up on some of the stuff that we even talked about today. I mean, it's very prevalent in our industry, and so it's important to have that information out to you guys. So you can definitely do that. You can also email me at rudy@floorcoatingmarketers.com.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you taking this time to talk to me, and I'm sure people will get value out of this. So,
anything for you, buddy.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later.
You bet. Trying to figure out how digital marketing works, trying to figure out how to get a website to rank, how to make it convert, trying to figure out how Facebook works, how Instagram works, how do you get engagement, how do you get followers, how do you get likes, how do you get reviews consistently on a single month. All of this can be extremely daunting for a business owner, especially if you're just trying to grow your business. Your job, your responsibility as a CEO is to automate and delegate. Your job is to make sure that everyone is put in the right spots. Having to spend all this time trying to figure out digital marketing tactics and skills, honestly, it's a complete waste of your time, resources, and money. You need to hire a company that is dedicated to you and to the industry, like Floor Coating Marketers. Stop trying to weigh your options. Just get on board. Hire Floor Coating Marketers for your agency. If you want a concrete coating business, this is your best shot at your success. If you want to 3 times or even up to 10 times your revenue, this is the best way to do it.